Hello, and welcome to Trudy and Friends. And I have a very special friend today. I got to find out who he is really, but his name is Michael Robinson. Hi, welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for this invite, Trudy.
Okay, I want to know first of all, who are you? I've gotten things from you that say Reverend, and something that says you're the community person for jobs. I mean, give me your full title and the name you want to use.
You could just call me Mike. And,
Oh, oh no, no. Okay, okay.
and,
Are
and,
you
and
really a reverend?
yeah, I am. I'm senior pastor of Greater Enon Missionary Baptist Church in North Philly. But again, call me Mike. Look, we fam, we fam.
Okay.
And, uh,
In fact,
and
I met you as a Mike Robinson in
yes,
charge of an event that you were having for people to get jobs.
yes,
And I hope that you're still doing that. As a matter of fact, that's the
absolutely.
strength of what I called you on to find out in today's market, are you still doing this?
Absolutely, yes. I'm director of community outreach. Another hat that I wear is director of community outreach and hiring for Temple University's North Philadelphia Workforce Initiative. It's an initiative funded by the Linfest organization and a partnership with Temple. And so, in that role, I help develop workshops, professional development workshops to move unemployed adults into employment opportunities. I also provide coaching, career coaching of adult professionals that are looking for work, and
Hmm.
job readiness initiatives like job fairs and employer spotlight events to help introduce job seeking adults to employers that are hiring. And so those are some of the things that come out of my office from the university to help people in the community find work. And we particularly focus on North Philadelphia, but we serve any Philadelphian.
Well, first, my first question is, are there any jobs?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Um, we,
let's
we,
kind of go ahead. Let's kind of
we
start from the beginning, maybe.
yeah, we've been doing these employer spotlights. Let me talk about what we're doing in the midst of the pandemic, because we've been doing some wonderful work that's been getting some traction. Uh, Prior to the pandemic, we used to do these things called employer spotlights.
Mm-hmm.
We would highlight an employer and bring people in person to an employer event to meet with a specific employer that would talk about the jobs that they have available, and then have these individuals apply and interview and compete for opportunities. Because of the pandemic over the last year, we had to pivot and move those kinds of initiatives to the virtual platforms like Zoom and Meetup and other types of video conferencing mediums. And it's been gaining a lot of popularity among employers. And so last week, for instance, we had Comcast. We had 100, I think the count was 195 people registered for that event. This Thursday, we have Waste Management, one of the Fortune 500, another Fortune 500,
Mm-hmm.
Comcast is one. And we have so far, as of today, 91 people registered for that event. And so the jobs are out there, but we have to, make the effort to shift the people to these platforms, these virtual mediums like Zoom and Meetup and other virtual platforms.
Mm-hmm.
In Philadelphia, there's this digital divide among those that have access to these kinds of platforms and those that do not. So that's a challenge for us to move the people to these digital platforms to connect with the employers. But the answer to your question is yes, employers are hiring.
Thank you. Good news. It's nice to have you aboard. The one thing that I know so many people are uh, involved in some way, but what we're going to try to do today, is there a certain program that you follow in taking care of looking for a job? You just don't go out and start looking. Is there a set example of how you should go looking for a job?
One of the strategies and tactics that I always tell people to do is to lay out some employers that you're targeting. For instance, if you have 4 or 5 companies that are top of your list for preferences for employment, list those 5. So start with your targeted companies and then research those companies. Find out who the hiring HR person is, the HR director or the vice president of HR or whoever is in charge of talent management. And you can research that typically on LinkedIn, Glassdoor.com. You can probably research that on a company's website, or you can just simply Google HR director for, and then type in the name of the company and see what information comes up. It's important to have that contact person's name so that you can send your information directly to that person. Now, more than likely, they may respond and say, apply to our company's website, through our company's website, because most companies have applicant tracking systems that they want you to apply through. But the reason why I say start with whoever the talent acquisition director is, because you want to make a personal contact. Because if they do respond and tell you to go through their website, you can let them know as a follow-up, I entered my information, I responded as you instructed. Is there an opportunity for us to meet? And then follow up and literally request an interview. The worst they can say is no. Secondly, if you do get an interview, I apologize, they're testing our fire alarm here.
That's all right. That's today's media. Don't worry.
If you do get an interview, Trudy, it is so important for your viewers to understand. Don't just interview just don't research the position that you're applying for, and just don't research the company. We're always told that. We've been trained to do that, but it's also of great value and importance to do your due diligence and research the people that you're scheduled to interview with, because you never know what you might have in common. Maybe the two of you graduated from the same high school. Maybe the two of you graduated from the same college. That kind of information is typically posted in a person's biography on the company's website. There's information on the people's background posted on Zoom. There's typically information you can glean from Glassdoor.com. So these are resources to tap to learn about the people that you're going to interview with, so that in the course of the interview, you can weave into the conversation certain things that you've gleaned researching that person that's interviewing you. For instance, if they've received a recent promotion during the course of the interview, you can weave into the conversation, Mr. Smith, congratulations, or Miss Smith, congratulations on your recent promotion. And most people don't research the people.
In other words, you got to know as much about them as they
absolutely
know about you. Well, now, with that said, so you do your research. Where do you find the job? Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to be in medicine," or "I want to be in teaching," but there are categories. So, how do you break that down?
Well, Philadelphia is a city known for eds, meds, eds and meds, education, and the medical industry. It's also known for hospitality. It's also known for labor and construction, and also government. Those are huge hiring sectors here in the city of Philadelphia. We have a base of colleges. We have the 5th largest school system in the country in terms of K through 12 education. We also have a huge labor industry here. Labor is booming in Philadelphia in terms of major redevelopment commercial properties, as well as residential major development that's going on. And so when you think about eds, meds, hospitality, and government, and these large industries like manufacturing and labor, these are huge industries that are based here in Philadelphia that are generating billions of dollars in earned income of people working within these organizations or these industry sectors. And so if these are the booming industries and these meet one's interests, then you want to make sure that these are at least on your radar for companies or industries, I should say, that you should consider, because you always want to go where the jobs are plentiful in your area of interest. And those industries that I just mentioned are the huge hiring industries in the Philadelphia region. We are education, healthcare, uh, um,
medicine.
yep, medicine, healthcare, real estate, construction, labor, hospitality, government hiring region. Those are the powerhouse industries for this area. And when you think about that, I may not be an education major, but because it's a huge industry, they may need me as a trade skill person to
Yeah.
maintain their buildings. They may need me as a trade skill person to maintain the cleanliness and hygiene of the buildings. And so, even though I may not be a representative with that quote unquote industry proper background, I may not be a hospitality professional, but because the hospitality industry hires at all levels, I, as a trades professional or a college grad or somebody who's a high school grad, may find my niche in those major industries that I mentioned.
Are you telling me then it's good to be prepared if you can't get exactly what you want to get someplace in, to get yourself in there first before you start rejecting?
Absolutely, because think about it. I may not.
That's you, not me.
I tell you, boy.
Okay.
I look that fact. Excuse me.
You may not what?
I'm a pastor, so I'm going to keep quiet on that one.
Okay.
The
Okay.
alarm in the background. Just forgive me. So what was your question?
Yes, you were saying you may not. I was supposing to get into the place. Maybe you have to start a little lower than you
Yeah,
anticipated. But if you once you
great,
get in, you got your foot in there.
great statement. Because I'm 60 years old, and back in my heyday, one of my old head mentors told me, Mike, just get your foot in the door. Because sometimes when you just get your foot in the door, it allows you to grow. I'll give you an example. I was a college graduate in communications. That was my undergraduate degree. And back in my day, to break into broadcasting, because radio broadcasting was my dream job. To break in radio broadcasting, you often had to kind of work your way up. Now, back in my day, you had to go through the Federal Communications Commission to earn your third class broadcasting license in radio. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. Now, I work in radio in writing capacities, like writing news,
Mm-hmm.
to work my way up to an announcer position. And I became a radio announcer in Philadelphia for various radio stations, WDAS AM, WURD, when it was a gospel station, WNAP, Gospel Highway 11. But I had to work my way up before I made it in this major market. Philadelphia is a major broadcast market. So to your point, yes, sometimes you accept lesser opportunities to break into the field of work that you're trying to get into. And then once your foot's in the door, work your way up. And I also tell people this, don't always chase the dollars, because in some cases, the salary might not exactly be what you want, but the benefits may be everything you want. For instance, you may not have health care. Health care is vitally important, especially for people with pre-existing conditions. So
Mm-hmm.
companies offering you full benefits with health care, but the money is not exactly what you want, but it's in the realm of what's acceptable to help pay your bills, then that might be the best opportunity to get your foot in the door and get what you need out of it. So sometimes it's not so much the salary, sometimes it may be the exact position.
Go ahead. That's all right. We'll pay that no mind.
Sometimes it may not be the exact position, but just getting your foot in the door is the most important thing so that you can springboard from there. And then sometimes, watch this, titles are most important. Maybe the money's not right, but it's acceptable. Maybe benefits aren't exactly what you want, but it's acceptable. But maybe the title is everything you want to be the stepping stone for the next opportunity. Because maybe they're giving you a title that's a leg up. You might not be earning the salary, quite the salary you want, and it may not be all of the benefits you want, but title-wise, it keeps you in a realm where it's a stepping stone for the next big step you make. So those are all considerations that you have to think about when you make the decision as what's best for me and what I got going on in my life.
Wow, that's so good. And I'm so glad to hear you say that. I do have another question for you right after this break. Mike, I'm glad you're still here because I have so much to ask you about. And I'm going to start off with one question that may have some alterations to it, and that is, how do you dress these days to go looking for a job? When I went looking for a job, we had to be with gloves and bag and, the proper dress length and, oh, a hat even,
You have to dress professionally. I just tell people it's always safe to go to every interview dressed in a suit.
Dress like you mean it, huh?
Exactly. Dress for success, because you never will go wrong dressing professionally in a full suit. And I recommend going even on virtual interviews in a full suit, because some people dress halfway where it's from the waist up. They'll have maybe a suit jacket, tie, shirt, or blouse if you're a woman, and a suit jacket. And then from the waist down, you're in pajamas. I tell people, come dress, even if it's a virtual interview, come dress fully in a suit, because when you're fully attired in business wear, in a suit, there's a certain mentality that comes with that. There's research out there that shows that when you are dressed for an occasion, you feel differently. Your attitude is different. You have a more professional and upscale approach to the situation than if you are halfway dressed, where you may have subconsciously a casual attitude. So always come professionally dressed. And we recognize that in the Temple University Linfest North Philadelphia Workforce program that I oversee. One of the things that we do is, if people that we're coaching and working with from our 8 zip code area are ill-equipped, if they don't have dress attire, we'll give them a voucher where they can go to the Career Wardrobe organization and get a free outfit. Career Wardrobe, for those that may not know, is an organization in Philadelphia that if you go on your own, you have to do some workshops. And if you complete a number of workshops, they have a whole store of business attire, suits for women, suits for men, dress shoes for men and women, a whole outfit that you can pick and choose and walk away with free. But through us, if you come through the Temple University Linfest North Philadelphia Workforce Initiatives, we have vouchers that will allow you to go there and pick out an outfit if you don't have that business attire. Like, I'm looking at you right now, Trudy. You are sharp, girl. You are right now. You clean as the Board of Health. That's what we used to say back in the day. And that's how you want to approach an interview, because when you're dressed to the nines, you just have a certain attitude that goes with it.
You do. You really do. You have a different approach altogether when you dress. And especially if your teeth and your breath are good, if your fingernails are good, if your face is washed, something happens. And I don't always like to see people assume that, well, I'm just going to talk to the receptionist. The receptionist might be the one who gets you in.
Absolutely. And it's important. I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to say something about that. If you're ever on an interview and you need somebody to ride you there, have your ride stay in the car. Don't have them come into the building with you and sit out in the lobby
They
because
may get you a job. I had that happen to me when I was younger. That happened to me. I took my girlfriend and she got the job and I didn't. But it wasn't because of our dress. She just knew more, or maybe she's better looking. I don't know. But that happened to me. So be careful of that.
but you don't want to bring people into the workplace with you because you don't know what they may do that could sabotage your opportunities. They could be trying to get the numbers of the receptionist, or they could be on the phone loud and making an impression, and that reflects badly on you. So don't ever bring people to the interview with you. And please do not bring your children to wait in the lobby with you. I've seen it all. Don't do that because those are things that badly reflect on you. And if you're ever called for a virtual interview, make sure your head level is even with the camera, so you're looking eye level at the camera, where your camera angle isn't up your nose or half your head is showing in the video to the people that are watching you. Make sure you're in a quiet environment.
And no TikTok watches, huh? Oh, baby, this is so good. I'm so happy that you were able to come. Now, are you planning any more events that people can attend?
We are typically on Thursdays. We try to reserve our Thursdays for employer spotlight events where we showcase an employer that's hiring locally, and those that come to our program are welcome to participate. Even if you're not a participant in our programs and services, you can still take part in those employment forums. They're public. So anybody that's looking for work in the Philadelphia region can take part in those. And we typically try to reserve Thursdays for those kinds of events. Comcast, we've had CBS, we've had UPS, we've had other major companies come through for our Thursday employer spotlight events. And if people would like to know more about that, they can, just call me and I can fill them in on that information.
Just one other thing I wanted to get in that we don't do, and that's go chewing gum.
Absolutely. You don't.
I almost forgot that one, but that's a very important one.
You don't want to pop gum. You don't want to use fillers like, see what I'm saying? Know what I mean? You don't want to use fillers like that. You want to make sure that you're conscious of how you're speaking, and you want to speak clearly. You want to enunciate, and you certainly don't want to chew gum.
Well, I think we've got a good start here, Mike, and I want to invite you back. I want to talk about some of the jobs that you think will be coming up because of the pandemic. Is there some way that people can reach you that you don't mind?
Absolutely. My telephone number is 215-204-0677. We provide job referrals, job coaching, interview coaching, resume writing assistance. We do professional development workshops. All of these services are free. And again, our telephone number is 215-204-0677.
Now, everyone doesn't give that number out, so if they if they missed it or you don't answer, they're free to contact this show on Facebook, and we'll be very happy to refer them. But I want to thank you. Now, we're going to have you back, and
Thank
what
you
I'd
so
like
much.
to do in closing, do you think there'll be enough for all of us to apply for jobs? Are they going to be plentiful?
There are plentiful jobs, but there's a caveat. There are plentiful entry-level jobs up through executive C-suite jobs that are available in this region. But the caveat is, do you meet the requirements? And that's where the research comes in. That's where due diligence comes in to find out where you best match up with opportunities. And then there are organizations, other organizations in Philadelphia, like the Urban League of Philadelphia, the OIC of Philadelphia.
Oh, the OIC, you know, they're coming back. They're remodeling and coming back with their instructions too. And we might be able to talk about that next time we meet.
Absolutely. And these are organizations that my office partners with, because those organizations and others that we are doing an excellent job of moving unemployed youth and adults from unemployment to employment through their various training.
And of course, we can always pray, huh?
Amen, somebody.
Thank you very much, Mike, for being with us. Now, officially, how would they address you?
You can just call me Mike.
Just call you Mike. I'm coming up to look for Mike, the guy that gets me a job.
Amen.
Or refers me, I should say that. The guy that refers me to job. Is so nice having you. And you'll be here again. Thank you for coming this time. And bring the clock. Bring the watch. It's all right.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thanks,
Judy.
Bye-bye. And bye to all of our friends. Join us again, 5:30 on Wednesday evening. Join us again, 5:30 on Wednesday evenings.
Cut! All right. I was telling you, break. That's okay, don't break. Keep going.
Tell me another break.
That was awesome. Amazing.
Thank you guys so much. Trudy, thank you so much.
Listen,
you are so clean. You are such a beautiful woman. Oh my God.
We'll do it again next time.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
I'll keep in touch with you.
You look impeccable as always.
Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you.
I'm going to send you that $5 later.